In 1905, there's a guy sitting at a desk in Switzerland stamping paperwork. Deodorant improvements, sewing machine patents, boring stuff. Nobody in that building thinks he's special. He'd actually applied to be a university professor and got rejected. Twice. That guy just quietly broke the universe. His name was Albert Einstein, and in 1905, a single year, he wrote 4 papers that quietly rewired physics forever. Historians call it his miracle year. And the wild part? He wasn't even a professor when he did it. Paper 1. He proved atoms are real. Scientists had watched pollen grains jitter around mysteriously in water for 80 years without explaining why. Einstein worked out the math. Invisible water molecules were smashing into the pollen, knocking it around. Atoms confirmed. From a desk job. Paper 2. What actually is light? Physicists had argued for centuries, wave or particle. Einstein's answer was almost cheeky. It comes in tiny packets of energy. We call them photons now. This idea, not the one you're about to hear, is what actually won him the Nobel Prize. Paper 3. The one everyone's heard of, even if they don't know why it matters. E = mc squared. Buried in that tidy little formula, mass and energy are the same thing, just wearing different costumes. A tiny bit of mass could unlock an enormous amount of energy. Einstein didn't build a bomb. He didn't build a power plant. He just noticed the door was there. Someone else, decades later, would walk through it. We'll come back to that. And then, almost as an afterthought in the same year, he took on something even bigger. Time itself. Einstein said time isn't fixed. It moves slower or faster depending on how fast you're moving. Someone in a fast rocket ages slower than someone standing still. Sounds like science fiction. It's measurable fact. Your phone's GPS has to correct for this every single day, or your location would drift off by miles. 4 papers, 1 year, 1 patent clerk. He still wasn't finished. 10 years later, working mostly alone, Einstein went even further. General relativity. His claim: gravity isn't really a pull. Massive objects, like the sun, like planets, bend space itself. Like a bowling ball dents a trampoline. Everything nearby just follows the curve. It was such a strange idea that most scientists needed proof before they'd believe a word of it. They got their chance in 1919. Einstein predicted starlight passing near the sun would bend by a very exact, calculable amount. You could only test it during a solar eclipse when the sun's glare wouldn't drown out the stars. They pointed the telescopes. They measured the light. It bent exactly as he said it would. Overnight, this quiet, rumpled German scientist became a global celebrity. Newspapers ran his photo everywhere. Strangers wrote him letters asking him to explain the entire universe in 1 paragraph, but fame didn't change who he was underneath. He famously never bothered combing his hair, figured vanity was a waste of brain power better spent thinking. In 1952, Israel offered him the presidency of the entire country. He turned it down, said, half joking, half serious, that he simply didn't have the right kind of mind for politics. And here's where that thread from 1905 comes back around. Years later, Einstein co-signed a letter warning the U.S. government about the terrifying potential of nuclear weapons, the very possibility his own equation had quietly opened the door to. He spent much of his later life campaigning against the very technology his own genius had made possible. Through all of it, the atoms, the light, the equation, the bent starlight, what stayed constant wasn't some magic brain trick. It was one habit. He refused to stop asking questions everyone else had already given up on. Near the end of his life, he put it simply: the important thing is not to stop questioning. A man nobody thought was special kept asking, "Wait, why?" And the answers changed how we understand reality itself.